Most people think you need huge budget to master DevOps, but I'm about to prove you can do it for free. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am starting completely from scratch with just my own computer to see if I can build a real breakable DevOps home lab for $0. This is episode 1 of my DevOps home lab challenge. So, why do we even need a DevOps home lab? Why do we need this? Because nothing beats from learning by doing, especially when you are allowed to break things and fix by yourself. Trust me, this is how I learned DevOps back few years ago. I had nothing but an old laptop and the official documentation, no paid courses, no cloud credits, just trial and error. You might have a question in your mind, what is a home lab? Okay, what is a home lab? It's your own private playground. It's your own private playground. You can create, crash, destroy with zero risk. Zero risk to your main computer. Here's how we'll do it. I am going to create a mini computer on my big computer. Okay, this is my big computer, and in this I am going to create a mini computer. And don't worry, if your hardware isn't fancy, you can still follow along. Even an old laptop or Raspberry Pi works. Now let's talk about VirtualBox. What is VirtualBox? Imagine, as I said, I will draw another very big computer. Okay, this is your own computer. It can be a laptop, desktop, it can be anything, but a computer. Inside this computer, we are going to install VirtualBox. Okay, on your main computer. So this is your main computer. Let me write this. Main computer where you are watching this video. Okay, in this computer, I am going to install VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a software which we are going to install in our main computer. So after installing, you can create multiple computers on top of this VirtualBox. Okay, I will draw a few computers here. One computer, 2, 3. So you can create as many computers as your main computer supports. So it completely depends on the hardware. For example, RAM, hard disk. So these are like two main things I would say. You have to assign some RAM to one machine, two machine, three machine, hard disk as well. For example, 10 gigabytes, 10 gigabytes, 10 gigabytes. Okay. This is how you can create virtual machines on top of VirtualBox. There are so many other softwares as well, but this is free. I am using VirtualBox because it is free to use. I don't want to pay anything in this particular series, so I'm going to show everything free that you can learn by yourself. Okay, this is my spec. If you can see, I have 1 terabyte of SSD, 8 GB graphic card, 32 GB RAM, and 8 core processor. My computer is very powerful because I am doing content creation. I try to install a lot of stuff. I create virtual machines, servers. I play around a lot with different things at the same time. That's why I'm using so powerful computer. You can use half of this, or let's say 100 GB, 200 GB SSD is also fine. And 8 GB RAM is also fine for DevOps labs. If there is really need, you can try to invest in yourself, in your computer. You can drop your comments. I will try to definitely answer. If you have any questions about computer, please feel free to drop comments in the comment section. Then definitely I'll try to help you. Okay. Now let's look at the folder structure. How do we have? So I'm using Windows. DevOps lab is my folder. I'm going to save everything in this particular folder, whatever I am doing today, and I will share it with you guys. Okay. Don't worry about any links, documentation, nothing. Just focus on the video and try to do practical by yourself. Follow the video and do it practical. First things first, I'm going to create a directory. For that, I'm going to use make directory command. In home location, I would like to do this hyphen lab. So you might think I already created a folder in Windows. Why am I creating again? So for your preferences and for your learning, I'm trying to create the directory once again in using command line. Command line is always useful, helpful, no matter which role you are in. I would like to tell you one a good suggestion. When I was starting out and using this terminal, it was a bit difficult in the beginning, but slowly, I was used to it. Definitely, you will be very happy in your career if you start using it right away. Now, let's try to download Oracle VirtualBox. For that, I'm going to go to their official website. So, if you want, you can go through the documentation here and understand more in detail. But definitely, I will try to cover a lot of information about virtualization in my coming videos. So stick around for the series. I'm going to click on download, and here you can see multiple options. I am using Windows, so I'm going to click on Windows. If you have Mac OS, you can go with that. Linux distributions as well. Solaris. So I'm going to click on this. The download of VirtualBox successfully completed. Let's try to install this. I'm going to double click on this. Say yes. So the installation process is like starting. I'm going to say next. If you want, you can go through the license. I already did that, so I'm happy with this. Click next, and here I can see some options. I would like to place in this particular location, so I'm not going to do anything. Click next. Network warning. Yes, proceed with installation. No issues. Missing dependencies. Install. Yes. And I'm going to select all these tick boxes. This will be, let's say, in the startup menu, I can see there will be a shortcut in the quick launcher and also register file associations. Click next. Install. So once this software is like installed on our machine, we should be able to create our first mini computer. Finish. And I can see my virtual machine is like ready. I already installed it. This is the second time I'm doing for the video. So this is my previous virtual machine. Please ignore this. So this is how the VirtualBox manager looks like. We have new, add, settings, discard, and start. So first, we are going to create a virtual machine. Click on new and give it a name. So you can give any name as you like. I would like to give the name as DevOps Lab 1. Okay. Followed by here, I'm going to select Linux. By default, it selected the subtype and the bit. So that should be fine. No issues. Then I'm going to click on next. Here it is giving an alert. No ISO image is selected. The guest OS will be installed manually. Fine. No problem. Next. I don't want to select that. Here, there's an option to give RAM, how much memory you want to assign, 2 GB. I'm going to give, you can give 1 GB as well. It depends on your configuration, as I said. And processor, how much you want to give, 1, 2. So I'll stick with 2. Click next. Create virtual hard disk. Okay. Use an existing virtual hard disk. Do not add a virtual hard disk. I'm going to create a virtual hard disk. 20 GB is fine for our use case. So I'm going to click on next. If you want to increase, decrease, completely free, play around with this and learn it, I would say. Okay, click next. Then finish. And we have successfully created our first mini computer. Now let's try to start it and see what will happen. So for that, I did start and normal start, preparing VM. So now I see an error. Virtual machine failed to boot. That might be caused by a missing operating system or misconfigured boot order. Mounting an operating system, install DVD might solve this problem. Selecting an ISO file will attempt to mount it after the dialog is closed. Okay. If anything goes wrong, maybe you get a weird error, something like this. Or your VM won't start. Don't panic. Honestly, when I started, I broke stuff every 5 minutes. Just drop your error in the comments and I might show you how to fix it in the next episode. Alright, mission accomplished. We built our first mini computer. What hardware did you use? Old laptop, Raspberry Pi, or something crazier? Comment below or share your setup. I'll shout out the best one in the next episode. And remember, if you have questions about hardware setup or anything DevOps, just ask. If you actually learn DevOps by doing, by building, and by breaking things in your own lab, you're already ahead of most people just watching videos. That's how I landed my first IT job. And if you stick with this series, you'll be ready to impress in interviews anywhere in the world. Next time it gets real, we'll install Linux into our virtual machine and set up our first real server. And if I break it, you'll see everything live. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll drop episode 2 right away. So smash that like button if you want to unlock it. And of course, hit subscribe and bell icon so you don't miss turning a blank VM into a real DevOps server. See you in the next video. In the last video, we created a blank virtual machine. Okay, a fresh sandbox. Okay, sandbox is nothing but kind of a test environment. In the corporate world, we call it as sandbox. So get used to these terms because from time to time I'm going to use, let's say, corporate terminology in my videos. So I hope you will understand and walk along. Today we are about to install. So Linux. Okay, we are about to install Linux inside this virtual machine. I'll show you every single step, share some of my own stories, and explain why this is one of the most important skills you'll ever learn for your career. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the episode 2 of DevOps HomeLab series. If you are excited to get your hands dirty, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of these practical real world DevOps episodes. I would like to give you my own personal story before diving in. When I first started learning Linux in 2013, it was pure curiosity that got me into it. I even did a Red Hat certification after few years just to see what it was all about, not because I thought it would magically land me a tech job, but the real value that came from actual practicing. I did a lot of practicing, breaking things, and figuring them out myself. That hands on experience is what sets you apart in interviews and in real life. That's exactly what I want for you through this series. You have to be very hands on. Everyone might have a question running in their mind: why Linux? Okay, because 95% of the world servers are running on Linux. Okay, every company from Google to Netflix to Amazon, like AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, you name it. Like every company, every cloud, whatever things are running in servers, they are on Linux. Without Linux, it is very difficult. I mean, there are some companies who are working on Windows and stuff, Windows servers and stuff. But if you really want to get into DevOps, Linux is a must. So, what are we doing today? Okay, we talked about why Linux. What are we going to do today? We are going to download Ubuntu ISO image, plug into our virtual machine. So, blank VM as I showed, we are going to plug this Ubuntu ISO image to our virtual machine and build our very first real server at home. First server. How are we going to do this? Step by step. I'm going to show you step by step. If you get stuck or break something, that's part of the learning. Don't worry. You will break a lot of things. You will fix a lot of things. You will see a lot of issues. Trust me, I've done it all. Let's talk about ISO. So, what is an ISO? It is nothing but a digital copy of operating system. So, using this, we are going to create this virtual machine. Okay. We are going to go to the official website of Ubuntu and download it from there and then try to create the virtual machine. Please do not use any random links because I did that already. It is riskier. Please try to follow only official website which I am going to show you, and also I am going to provide each and every link which I am using in this episode. Please don't worry about that. Let's navigate to the official website of ubuntu.com, and from here I'm going to click on download Ubuntu. There are multiple options here: desktop, server, Raspberry Pi, Ubuntu for IoT, all of this, but I want server. I will click on get Ubuntu server. If you scroll down, there are like a lot of versions. Try to select LTS version. LTS is nothing but long-term support it will have. So you can just click on download. Once the download is like successful, we are going to continue. Just click on download and that's it. The download will start automatically. I'll click and show you. So it will take some time, depends on the size and your internet speed. So the download started here. So once this download is successful, we are going to spin up our virtual machine. Now let's go to the virtual box and try to attach the ISO image which we downloaded. So I'm going to select DevOps Lab 1 virtual machine from here. Click on settings. Here you will see multiple options: general, system, display, storage, audio, network and stuff. Click on storage. I'm going to explain in detail. Don't worry about any settings. Everything you will learn slowly. Don't be in a hurry as well. I would suggest follow along my episode. I am going to explain each and everything. If you have any other questions, please drop them down in the comments. I'll try to answer. So first things first, I'm going to click on storage. Select here empty CD. Optical drive, you see this option and click here. Choose a disk file. This is for my previous virtual machine. So I'm going to select choose a disk file and select Ubuntu live server. Open. Okay, once this is done, I'm going to say okay, that's it. Now what are we going to do? So we are going to start this. So click on this virtual machine. You can right click and start. If not, you can start from here as well. Anything works. So click start. The virtual machine will start. Try or install Ubuntu. Press enter. Select language. So English, I prefer English. So press enter. Identify keyboard. Yeah, default I would like to keep English. Press done. And here it is asking multiple options. Ubuntu server minimized. So I would like to stick with Ubuntu server. Press done. And in terms of networking, I'm not going to do anything. Press done. Proxy also, we are not going to do anything. Press done. And the installation is like starting. If you get stuck anywhere, please drop your error in the comments. I will try to answer you. Press enter once again. And here it is asking use an entire hard disk. Yes, I would like to do that. Press tab and say done. Then again, it is asking about the file system summary, available devices, all that information is trying to give. Do not worry about anything. Just say done. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, continue. So pick a username. Again, Arbaz I will give. And password, it is asking for password. So give it a password. Confirm password. Then done. So it is asking, do you want to enable Ubuntu Pro? Not required. Continue. Install OpenSSH server. Yeah, that would be great. Let's do that. Done. And then again, we have few more questions. We will not install anything for now. Just go blank. Okay, if you want to install, you can do that. But I don't want to do it because I would like to show it in the coming episodes. So click on done. Click on done. So the installation started. It will take some time. If you see any kind of errors or problems, just try to take a screenshot and post it in the comments. Try to solve it by yourself first. If you are unable to do that, you can drop always in the comments. I will try to respond to you. Installation completed successfully. Now it is asking us to reboot the machine. So that is normal. Click on reboot. System got rebooted. We should see the login screen. Just wait a minute or two. We should see the login screen now. Capture mouse. Yes, we have successfully configured our first virtual machine. Now let's try to log into that machine using my login which I created. Let's see if it works. Wow, congratulations. We are into the virtual machine. Try to list some files there using ls command. Yes, I can list, and also I will try to run pwd present working directory home and arbaz. As you can clearly see, right now I am in my virtual machine which I created. Type who am I? Okay, arbaz. The first time I did this, I felt like a real engineer for the first time, and honestly, this is the stuff that can make you confident in interviews. Remember, it's not about the certification, it's about what you can do and explain. When you talk in an interview about building virtual machine, installing Linux, and fixing your own mistakes, you stand out because most people never do this for real. Now, question to you, did you get your Ubuntu running? Comment your Linux version or just say hi. I'll feature some of your stories and setups in the next episode. Next time, we connect our servers to the world, networking basics, port forwarding, and I'll even break something on purpose to show you how to fix it. If this video get at least 10 likes, I'm going to release the next episode sooner. Subscribe and join the journey. This is how real DevOps skills are built. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. In our last episode, we installed Linux and got our first VM. But here's a confession. When I started with HomeLabs, networking was always difficult for me. Back in the day, I could install Linux very easily, but I was unable to get internet because of networking. Also, why can't I connect from my host computer to a virtual machine which is on the virtual box? So this was, let's say, a very big problem. I used to spend hours figuring out what's going on. Sometimes I broke my home Wi-Fi, but learning this stuff changed everything. Suddenly my projects actually worked, and those scary networking interview questions got a whole lot easier. Why do we need networking? You might have the question. Because real servers talk to the outside world. So for example, this is our virtual machine server which we created. It should be able to talk to the internet. Okay. Also, my host PC should be able to talk to this server. You are going to see very soon how we are going to connect. And also, from the host PC, you should be able to connect to the cloud servers. Okay. That is the reason this is all connected because of networking. Okay. Networking is like very huge topic in itself. Basics are important for networking. I'm not asking you to master networking, but you should have some basics and some understanding about lot of stuff which I'm going to explain. What we are going to explore today, we are using VirtualBox. So it has two options. One is NAT and the second one is like bridge. Okay. There are two networks. Let's understand what is NAT network. Okay. This is nothing but your server virtual machine which we created in our last episode. It can connect to the internet. In very simple terms, try to understand, it can connect to the internet. But nothing can reach to the server. No one can talk from the outside world to the server VM. Only it can talk one way. There's only one way communication. Okay. And it is safe and great for most DevOps learning. Okay. If we speak about bridge network, in bridge network, you can connect your host PC using the bridge network to the server. There will be, let's say, communication. You can do SSH, for example. Also, you can connect to multiple devices using your home network. Okay, for example, you can connect to your TV, to your mobile device. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff. I mean, don't do it right now. I'm going to explain that as well. But yeah, overall, this is like the high level understanding which I wanted to explain. I always used to use NAT network, but one day I wanted to SSH from my host PC to the server. That's where I figured out we need to use bridge model or bridge network, we can say. Okay. That's how I figured out, okay, this is how we try to connect to the remote server using SSH using a bridge network. Let's start looking into the demo. Let's do this together. First, I will show you how things work. Let's go to our server which we created. Click on settings and go to the network part. Here you can see enable network adapter. There are like two options, NAT and bridge adapter. First, I would like to disable this. Click OK and I will start this virtual machine. Okay. And let's see if we can connect to the outside world. Let's log into this server real quick. We are in the server right now. I am going to use ping google.com. Okay. Let's see what kind of response we are going to get. Temporary failure in name resolution. That means there is some problem. I do not have access to the network. As you clearly saw, I did not attach any network. Now I'm going to shut down my PC. Let's try to shut down. So I did shut down my PC. Now let's go back to the settings. Click on network, enable network, and select NAT. Okay, first I am going to select NAT. Click OK. Okay, now I am going to start once again. Let's try to log in once again to the server. Clear the screen. Ping google.com. Press enter. Now see the difference. Without network, you are getting one error, and with network, you are getting response. That means we have successfully connected to the internet. We have access to the outside world from our server. Congratulations. This is a very great step, I would say. Now close this. Let's look at the IP address of this server. For that, I am using IP address show. IPAS is nothing but IP address show. Okay, here I can see two adapters. Second one has some IP address 10.0.2.15. So let's try to ping that from our local host PC. So this is my host PC. I will try to ping this server and see what will happen. Ping 10.0.2.15. Press enter. You see the message, destination not reachable. Okay, now let's try to power off this machine. Go back to the settings, click on network and select bridge adapter. By default, it took my Wi-Fi, home Wi-Fi. That's fine. Click OK. Start the virtual machine. Let's log into the machine once again. Press enter, clear the screen. Now let's look at the IP of this server. Previously, you saw something like 10 dot. Now you see a different one. If you look at the second adapter, 192.168.0.208. Okay, let's come back to our host PC. So this is my host PC. Previously, I was using this IP. Now I will try to use ping 192.168.0.208. Press enter. You see the difference? We are getting response. That means congratulations, you were able to communicate with the server from your home desktop PC. If it works, congratulations, you have connected your home real computer to your virtual server, just like in a real world data center. Networking not working? Welcome to DevOps. Don't panic. Did you restart the VM after changing settings? Is your firewall blocking things? Are both host and VM on the same Wi-Fi network? If you are stuck, screenshot your settings, drop them in the comments. I promise I broken every networking setup at least once. Interviewers love to ask troubleshooting network issues. When you say I actually set up virtual machines and figured out networking myself at home, you instantly stand out. This is the kind of real experience that makes you memorable, not just another certification. Now, your challenge, can your VM reach the internet? Can your host ping your virtual machine? Try it and comment your results. If you come up with a weird HomeLab network design, draw it and tag me. I might feature it in the next episode. Next time we are making our virtual machine run its first web server and exposing it to the network so you can actually visit your own site from any device at home. And yes, I'll show you what happens when you misconfigure a firewall. Subscribe and stick around. This is where HomeLab legends are made. Last episode, we finally created a virtual machine which was talking to the internet. Also, my host PC was talking to the virtual machine server which we created. Okay, but let me take you back to my own journey. Back few years ago, I was already deep into Linux. Also, I got Red Hat certified. Honestly, I'll never forget the day I set up my very first home web server. I was just sitting there refreshing my browser over and over that I could reach a page hosted on my own server. That was the moment it all clicked. This isn't just theory, you are building something real. Okay, this is how we try to learn every day. You might have a question in your mind, why do we need web servers? What is the use of web servers? Because web servers power everything online, from Google to your local restaurants online delivery. Okay, if you want to work in DevOps, system admins, or backend, you must know how to launch, configure, and troubleshoot servers. What are we going to do today? So today we are going to install Nginx on our virtual server which we created yesterday, making sure it's running on our virtual machine. Today we will install Nginx, one of the most popular web servers. Make sure it's running on the virtual machine and access it from our home browser. Okay, from my home PC, I will open a browser and I should be able to access this web server. Okay, how are we going to do it? I'll show you each step, troubleshooting any failures, and share what I learned from breaking my own labs. Before we dive in, let me quickly show you how this works behind the scenes. This is gold for interviews and real troubleshooting. Your browser, home PC. From home PC, you are searching in the browser, okay, to your VM's IP. So this is my server, Nginx server. The request, as soon as you search for the IP, the request will go to the firewall. So this is my firewall, the gatekeeper. If the right port isn't open, nothing gets through. If the gate lets it through, the request lands on web server. Nothing but Nginx in this case. If the firewall passes that particular port 80, then it will come to the Nginx web page. Nginx grabs your home page that will be sitting in some directory, index.html for example, and it will try to send it back to the browser. That way, you are seeing it on your home PC. So every time you type the IP in the browser, you are basically saying, hey VM, show me your home page. If anything breaks, this flow helps you pinpoint the problem, firewall, server, or network. It can be anything. I mean, we'll see multiple issues in real-time environment. Just for your understanding, I am trying to picture this. This is like a very simple explanation I am trying to give. There is a lot to learn, but slowly you will learn everything. Okay, give it some time. In the coming episodes, videos, I'm going to explain more and more how things work in the real world environments. Okay, let's get to the demo part. So first step is like I logged into my server, DevOps Lab 1, the same server which we created. Here I am going to install OpenSSH server so that I can connect from my home PC to the server. I think I already did this part of the virtual machine creation. If someone missed this, you can install it using sudo apt install command and the package name OpenSSH server. Press enter. It will ask for password. You need to provide password. And it says 0 upgraded, 0 newly installed, 0 to remove, 59 not upgraded. Because it's already present on my server. If it is not present on your server, it will install. Don't worry about it. If you see any kind of errors, drop it in the comments. Now, what I will do, IP address show. IPAS is nothing but showed me the IP address. These are like the commands. I will go back to my home PC. Open the terminal. So this is my home PC, WSL environment I'm using. So here I am going to say SSH Arbaz is my name, like the username, @ 192.168.0.208. Okay, now I'm going to minimize this virtual machine. Going forward, I am going to use this terminal to work on each and every video. This is very important to get into DevOps. Okay, let's continue. SSH Arbaz at 192.168. Okay, we see the first error saying connection reset by 192.port22. So there is a problem with the port 22. This is how real troubleshooting begins now. Let's look at the SSH service status. For that, I am going to run sudo systemctl status ssh.service. Press enter. Okay, looks like there is some problem with my SSH service. Failed to start SSH service. Let me try to restart. Let's try our luck whether it will work or not. Oh no, it is not working. Job for SSH service failed because the control process exited with error code. Okay, let's try to run this command sudo sshd-t. Press enter. If the output is like clear, okay, no host keys available, exiting. Okay, this is the problem. No host keys available -exiting. I am going to copy that error, open my browser, and let's look at the documentation. Let's look for this first link. SSH failed to start due to missing host keys. Let's see what did he do. So I can see SSH, open SSH server daemon. The config does not include. Okay, looks like it has a configuration that we need to include somehow, that is like missing. On WSL this worked. Sudo ssh-key gen sudo service ssh-s full restart. Okay, let's look at the other URL if we can find something. So here also is trying to generate certificate, stack trace. Yeah, looks like there is a certificate problem. And let me go here. This error fixed. Okay, let's try to run this command and see what will happen. Sudo ssh keygen -a. Sudo ssh keygen -a. Press enter. Okay, now let's try to start our service once again and see if it will work. Sudo systemctl restart ssh. Okay, now let's look at the status. Looks like our online troubleshooting worked. Status ssh dot. Wow, congratulations, active running. Now let's go back to my home PC, desktop PC, and let's try to once again connect SSH Arbaz at 192. The same authenticity of host can't be established. Okay, are you sure you want to continuing? Yes, I would like to continue. Press enter. It is asking me for password. Give the password of the user which you created, and we are into our virtual machine. Congratulations. This is like very good point, I would say, for our series. We have successfully connected to our virtual server. Now let's try to install Nginx. For that, I am going to use sudo apt install nginx -y. Press enter. Again the password. It will take, let's say, a minute or two. Once this is done, we are going to, let's say, start Nginx service. So the same command once again, how we did for sudo system ct. Let me clear the screen, that would be much clearer. Sudo system ctl status nginx. I can see actively running. That means I should be able to access it from my browser. So once again, let's look at the IP address 192.168.208. I will copy this, Go back to my browser and paste it here. Press enter. Welcome to Nginx page. We have successfully configured Nginx and it is running on our server, which is sitting on our virtual box, and we are able to access from my host PC. Welcome to Nginx. You just launched your first HomeLab website. The first time I tried this, nothing worked. I spent 30 minutes debugging. Turns out my firewall was blocking everything. Let's not repeat my mistakes. If you don't see the page, your firewall might be blocking port 80. Refresh your browser, still not working. Double check your steps and remember, every engineer gets stuck. I logged myself out of VMs more times than I can count. Take a breath and keep going. Here is a real world career hack. If you can explain how you set up web server, open firewall ports, and fixed access issues, you stand out in interviews. This is practical experience recruiters look for, not just memorizing commands, but actually building and troubleshooting. Now it's your turn. Try customizing your Nginx homepage. Edit this file. I'm pointing to the location var www.html index.nginxdbn.html. Try to edit this file. Put your name, a meme, anything. Share a screenshot in the comments. I will give a shout out in the next episode. If you get stuck on specifications, VirtualBox, or anything else, just drop a comment. I will respond to you quickly. Next time, we'll break our web server on purpose and then recover it just like a real DevOps engineer. Plus, you'll get a taste of automation, how to deploy or fix things with a single script. So hit subscribe, smash that like button, and get ready. Your home lab is about to level up. When I started playing with Linux in my home lab, I was focused on big projects that I forgot my own password more than once. Okay, I have a virtual server sitting on my virtual box and I forgot my password. That's nothing more frustrating than building a cool server, taking a break, realizing you are logged out of your own server. That's why this episode matters, because real engineers, not beginners, get logged out sometimes. Okay, knowing how to recover from this logged out is a must have skill, in my opinion, because if you break something on your own server, you should know how to recover from it. You might ask, why this matter? Okay, let me draw a flow. Logged out, troubleshoot, then recovered. Because forgetting your password will happen. Real world DevOps means solving problems, not just following scripts. What we are going to learn in this episode? What are we going to learn? We will learn how to safely reset a forgotten password. So let me write it here. Forgotten password inside your own virtual machine. These are like just admin skills. Okay, these are real admin skills. How are we going to do? Step by step with all the right safety warning, so you use this knowledge ethically and only on systems you control. This is episode 5, and trust me, this is one you'll want to save. If you are finding these videos helpful, like, share, and subscribe. It helps grow our hands on DevOps community. Before proceeding to the demo, One super important thing I would like to mention here, whatever I am showing is for learning and recovery on your own machines only. I would like to stress this point. Never use this on any computer, server, or VM you don't own or have explicit permissions for. Use your skills for good. Admins save the day, not cause trouble. Let's jump into the demo. First of all, I would like to go back to my virtual machine. DevOps Lab 1 is like currently running. I will shut down that. Power off. Now let's try to start this. So as soon as I start, I'm going to open that and press escape. I see multiple options here. Ubuntu, advanced options for Ubuntu. Press enter. I see again two options, generic and recovery mode. Go to recovery mode. Press enter once again. So just wait a minute. We are going to get into a different mode instead of the normal startup. Okay, now you can see multiple options: clean, dpkg, grub, network, root, system security, and normal. So click on root, press enter to continue. So here you are in the root menu directly without signing into the machine. For example, you forgot your password, so you can come here and say passwd and the username. Press enter. Give the new password which you wanted to keep. Retype that password once again. Press enter. Password updated successfully. Now you can do a normal reboot or just type reboot. Press enter. So it will start the machine for you. Once the machine is like up and running, we are going to log in once again with our new password. Now I can see the login screen. Press enter. I will give my new password and I'm back into my virtual machine. If you get stuck at any step, maybe the grub menu doesn't appear or you can't get into recovery mode, don't panic. Try pausing the VM as it boots or double check your VirtualBox settings. And remember, Google is your friend. I looked up this fix by myself more than once. Here's something most beginners don't realize. Being able to recover from these kind of movements isn't just handy, it is exactly what interviewers want to hear. Anyone can build a server, but only the prepared knows how to recover one. Try it out. If you ever been logged out, tell me your funniest or most frustrating passwords fail. Challenge for you: if you ever been logged out, or tell me your funniest or most frustrating password fail in the comments. Got your VM back online? Share your success. I'll feature some of your stories in the next episode. Next time, we are taking automation to the next level, writing our very first shell script to save time and avoid mistakes. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and keep breaking and fixing things with me. That's how DevOps engineers are made. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps HomeLab series. This is episode 6, and today we are making your life easier and your lab way cooler by writing your very first shell script. If you love saving time and working smarter, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series. When I started out, I'd waste so many hours repeating the same commands: installing software, updating packages, restarting services, over and over. At some point, I realized pros don't do things by hand. Every time they automate. The first shell script which I wrote was a total mess, but the feeling of getting the computer to do work for me, that was the moment I knew I was becoming a real DevOps engineer. So, you might have a question in your mind: why do we need scripting? Is it really necessary or mandatory? Lots of different questions you might have. Scripting is what separates beginners from real engineers. I will tell you a very good example. Why do we need scripting? You save lot of time. Lot, it means lot. I don't have, the limit. Lot of time. Avoid mistakes. Okay, if you run a command and if you forget about that command, that's gone. What did you type? You don't know. If it is like scripted, you will know what exactly is happening within that script and what kind of commands are like running. Okay, it can be used by multiple people within the team. Okay, multiple teams, projects, I mean whatnot, we can do a lot. Okay, I'll talk more in detail. Then what are we going to do? What are we going to do in this episode? Write a simple script, very simple, beginner friendly, okay, to update our virtual machine server which we created in last episodes. We will install web server. Once again, we are going to do the same thing. What did you do manually? The same thing we are going to automate, okay, using the shell script. How are we going to do? How are we going to do? Step by step, I will show you the demo, explaining each step what we are doing, and also try to point out common mistakes. Okay, so before going to the demo, I would like to talk about some editors. So for example, Vim is one of my favorite editor in Linux. There is like Nano, we have VI, and there are like so many other editors. I mean, it's up to you, it's up to your own wish. I am used to using Vim from very long time, from the beginning of my career, so I will try to stick with Vim. You can go with Nano or VI, other options as well. It's up to your own choice. We are going to use this very much in the coming episodes. Okay, remember, get used to it. From the beginning, I'm saying you have to get used to the terminal environment. If you want to become a real DevOps engineer, then you have to get used to the terminal environment. Let's jump into the terminal. I already connected to my virtual machine using SSH command. If you are new to my channel, please try to watch my old videos so that you'll be on the same pace which we are at the moment. Okay, I'm using Vim to create a shell script. SH is like the extension for shell script. Press enter. I is like insert mode. I'm going to start with a shebang. This terms which we are seeing on my screen, hashtag and exclamation, we call it as shebang. Okay, in the real world terms, shebang, bin and bash. It tells Linux to use the bash shell to interpret this script. There are like multiple different shebang that we are going to use, but for now, let's keep it very simple. Bin bash. Remember, for most of the shell scripts, you are going to use bin bash, and in some cases, you might see a different shebang. For example, bin sh. Most common type of shebang is like bin bash. So for this video, let's keep it very simple and continue with our script. Okay, if this is kind of missing, your script will not work. You can try it if you want. The next step is like, I am going to say echo updating system. Press enter. This will print the message to my terminal. Okay, then we will run sudo apt update. Ampersand is like I can run multiple commands within the same line. Okay, apt upgrade. I'm saying first to run sudo apt update followed by sudo apt upgrade hyphen y. Apt update will check for the updates. Upgrade will try to upgrade all packages to the latest version which we have locally. Ampersand is nothing but, as I said, second command after the first one succeeds. Hyphen y is like yes. It's as simple as that. Then I will write another message saying echo installing Nginx. This will try to print the message to my terminal, followed by sudo apt install Nginx hyphen y. Nothing but we are telling this script to install Nginx hyphen y is again the same, yes. Followed by echo all done. Okay, let's keep it very simple. I'm going to escape shift colon wq to exit out of the script. My shell script is kind of ready. Now I will remove Nginx which I installed manually. Okay, for that sudo apt remove Nginx and then password. Yes. So I'm removing my Nginx server. Deletion is like over. Now clean this. Let's try to run the setup.sh. Press enter. Looks like permission denied. Now let's try to fix the permission. First of all, I would like to see the permissions. Looks like I have only read write permission. Then let's try to update the permission. Chmod is nothing but change file permissions plus x means make this file executable. Okay, then select the file, press enter. Now if we look at ls-lrt is nothing but listing the file permissions with the details, who is the owner, group and others, when it was created. I can see all the information as you can see clearly on my screen. Now let's try to run this script once again. Press enter. You see, updating the system, reading packages, following new packages will be installed Nginx. So it will take some time. Okay, all done. That means we should see our Nginx server running. Let's try to check the status of that. Status Nginx.service. It is actively running. Now let's go back to our browser and check if I can access that from my machine. 192.168.208. I'm going to copy this IP address. Once again, come back to the browser, press enter. Welcome to Nginx. You have successfully installed Nginx using simple shell script. If you get permission denied or see an error, don't worry, everyone does at first. Make sure you have proper permissions. Double check your spellings and punctuations. If it still fails, drop your error in the comments. I might demo your issue next time. Because real DevOps is about fixing what breaks. One interview tip or career tip, whatever you might take it. Here's why this matters. When interviewers hear you have written and run your own scripts, even just to automate simple tasks, it shows you'll think like a professional. It's real world experience. You can't fake by memorizing theory. Now, your challenge, write your own shell script to install your favorite tool or automate any boring task in your virtual machine server. Share your script in the comments or just tell me what you automated. I'll try to give a shout out in the next episode. In the next episode, I'm going to show you about SSH, user management, and security, how much important they are. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more DevOps related skills. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps HomeLab series episode 7. Today we are shifting gears from just building servers to actually protecting them. If you are learning something new, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's keep this hands-on community growing. When I first set up my home server, I was so excited to get it working that I barely thought about security. Okay, I set up my Linux VM, same exactly how we did using a bridge network. So it acted just like another computer on my Wi-Fi. I left SSH port open with a weak password, thinking it's just my home network, what could go wrong? Then I realized anyone on my Wi Fi network, family, guest, or neighbors' Wi Fi password can log in if they tried hard enough. Even at home, we need to manage users, set strong passwords, and lock down SSH. If you ever forward ports from your router, for example, to your VM, you will be visible to the whole world. That's why user management and SSH security aren't just cloud problems, they matter in every real world setup, even in our home lab. Why security matters for us? Real servers face real threats. SSH is where pros try to connect. User management is how we can avoid mistakes. Also, we can lock things just for good practice. So, what are we going to learn in this video? What are we going to learn in this video? We'll get SSH working. We already did this. So, you can log in from your host PC. Also, we are going to create some users and log down root to keep bad guys out. How are we going to do? How are we going to do this? I'll walk you through every step and help you troubleshoot if you break something because we have all done it. Now let's get into the demo. First things first, I logged into my virtual machine using username and password. Here we are going to run sudo apt update. Okay, once this is like done, we are going to install SSH server. Sudo apt install open SSH server -y. Press enter. So installation is like going on. The installation is like successful. Now let's look at the status. Systemctl status SSH. Press enter. I can see it is active and running. Now let's go back to host PC. So this is my host PC. So I'm going to use Arbaz and the IP address. Press enter. Give the password. And we are into the machine once again. Now let's create a new user. Okay. How can we do this? Sudo space add user is like the command. and the name of the user. DevOps user. Okay, press enter. It is asking me for password. I am the root user, so I have the rights to create a user. Let's pause here and I will try to explain line by line what's going on here. First, adding user DevOps user. The system is starting the process to create a new user named DevOps user. Followed by, you can see selecting UID GID from range 1000 to 549. What it means? Linux gives each user and group a unique number, user ID and for users and group ID for groups. For normal users, these numbers usually start at 1000. The system is picking the next available numbers, followed by adding new group DevOps user 1001. What it means? The system creates a new private group called DevOps user with group ID 1001 for the new user. This is a security best practice on Ubuntu. Followed by, we have adding new user DevOps user 1000 with group DevOps user 1001. What it means? The user DevOps user is created with UUID 1001 and it is assigned to the group DevOps user group ID 1001. This links the user and the private group. Okay. Then the next step is like creating home directory /home/DevOps user. What it means? The system makes a personal folder for the new user at home/DevOps user. This is where all the user files and settings will be stored. Okay. Followed by copying files from /etc/skeleton. The system copies default configuration files from this particular folder into the new home directory. Files like .bashrc, .profile set up the basic environment so the new user has a standard shell and settings from the first login. Now let's give the password. Press enter. Again password. Okay. Changing the user information for DevOps user. Enter the new value or press enter for the default. Default. I'm not going to give any information. Say yes. Press enter. If you see, adding new DevOps user to supplemental extra group users, adding user to group users. Okay. Now we are like ready. Let's switch back to DevOps user. Switch user is the command DevOps. Press enter. Sorry, switch user DevOps user. Okay, press enter. Now I'm going to give the password. If you look at the terminal now, it says DevOps user at devopslab1.com. Previously, we had arbaz at devopslab1.com. So we successfully created a new user. If we write present working directory, I'm in /home/arbaz. I'll come back to this and you can see DevOps user as well. Who am I? DevOps user. Okay, this is how you try to log in. Next, let's give admin rights to our new user. How can we do that? So I'm using user mod command here, -ag space sudo DevOps user. So sudo means run the command with admin privileges. So you have permissions to change user settings. User mod is nothing but this is the Linux command to modify a user account. Followed by -a and g. These are like two flags together. -a means append. Don't remove the user from other groups. Followed by G is nothing but specifies which groups you want to add the user to. Then we have sudo. Sudo means it's like a group name. This is the special admin group on Ubuntu Debian systems. Member of this group can use sudo to run commands as root admin. Next, DevOps user, the user you are modifying. Okay. Now let's try to run this command. Press enter. So we have successfully added the DevOps user to the sudo group. Now let's switch back to the DevOps user. Now let's log out of this machine. So connection close to my server. Let's try to connect once again, but with DevOps user. Okay, press enter. Give the password which you set up and press enter. Now we are back to our server, but with a new user. Previously it was Arbaz, now it's like DevOps user. I once logged myself out by removing my own sudo rights. If you do that, reboot to recovery mode and fix it. See the last episode. Now let's try to open the SSHD configuration. Press enter. So I am doing everything with the new user. Let's look at this configuration file. So in this file, I will try to find the permit root login line. So let's look at that. It is under authentication. I can see permit root login. Currently it is commented out. I am going to uncomment this. Insert mode, remove this comment, followed by, I would say, no. Here, I don't want to give root access to anyone except for known users. That means we have some security here. Okay. If you want, you can update the port as well. Instead of 22, you can update it for 2200, for example. Okay. And try to save this file. Okay. Now we are going to restart this. Sudo systemctl restart SSH. Press enter. Now only users you trust can log in and root access is locked down. If you mess up SSH and can't log in, don't panic. Use the VirtualBox console to get back into your VM and fix the config file. If you lose sudo access, boot to recovery mode like last episode and fix your user. Breaking things is how you learn. Trust me, I've done all of these multiple times. Career and interview tip. Being able to explain SSH basics, user management, and simple hardening of security will make you stand out in any interview. These are all practical skills that show you are ready for real world DevOps work, not just textbook answers. Now your challenge for today's video: set up a new user, SSH in from your main machine, SSH from your main machine, lockdown root, did you break something? Break something? Fix it and tell me your story in the comments. And now that you got your lab locked down, it's time to bring your work to the next level. Next episode, we'll set up Git in your HomeLab so you can finally version control your scripts, your configurations, and even your entire projects like a professional. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and get ready. Your DevOps toolbox is about to get a serious upgrade. Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps Home Lab series. This is episode 8, and if you are learning something new or you want your projects to never get lost again, like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep building this community of hands on engineers. When I first started coding and building servers, I had multiple folders mess on my machine. For example, project, final, project, final 1, project, final 2. I lost so much work, overwrote files, and almost cried more than once. Then I learned about Git. So, what is Git? It is a version control system. Okay, version control system. Suddenly, I could break things, fix them, and always go back. Okay, total game changer. Today, I'll show you how to set up Git in your HomeLab, connect to GitHub, and version your scripts like a pro. So you might have a question, why do we need Git Arbaz? Okay, I would say Git is safety net for every engineer. Okay, I will give you a real world example. For example, if you are working on your server and you try to run 100 commands on your server, will you be able to remember all those commands, or will you be able to remember what was the 55th command which you wrote? I mean, there are ways to get the history, but in the real production environments it's not possible, and you will do a lot of different stuff. It is very hard to remember what you did today morning. You ran 100 commands, and followed by in the evening you will run another 500 commands. So this is very hard. So every company, it can be a small company or a large company, everyone will have Git in their projects. So they are doing version control and storing. Every source code is stored in Git. Application code, infrastructure configuration, database configuration, I mean, you name it. There is a lot of useful stuff that you can do as a DevOps engineer, software engineer. This is kind of common across any role you are working on. Git is a must known skill. Okay, what are we going to learn today? So we will install Git. Okay, create local repository, make a few commits, connect to GitHub repo. Okay, we are going to create repository on GitHub repo as well. Okay, and try to push all the local code, source code, to the GitHub repository. So how are we going to do this? How? Step by step, all the basics. I wish someone warned me about. Now let's get into the demo. First things first, I'm going to connect to my server, virtual server, which we created in our previous videos. And I will type for git space hyphen hyphen version. It will tell me if Git is like installed on my machine or not. Okay, looks like no such file or directory. You might have a question, how do you know this command will work for installing Git? This is nothing serious. Sudo apt install is nothing but we are trying to install the name of the package and hyphen y. That's it. If you have any more questions, you can go to the GitHub documentation. Here, click on downloads. There are multiple options: Mac OS, Windows, Linux. You can use any operating system, any machine. I'm using Linux, Ubuntu, and I can see this command here: apt get install Git. Okay, there's a lot of information. If you want to go through, you can go through it. This is free. Okay, for my use case and for our video for today, I'm going to follow along what I know and what I prepared. Okay, press enter. So it will install Git for me. It will take a minute. Yeah, this is done. I will clear the screen and let's try to run the git --- version command once again. Okay, now I see git version 2.43.0. Okay, successfully we installed Git on our machine. The next step, git config --global user.name and your name. I will try to write my name. So what are we doing here? So git config is nothing but we are trying to set the configuration of the git. ---- global flag is nothing but apply this setting to all git repositories for this user account on this computer. User.name, this is the specific setting you are changing your git username. For example, Arbaz, this is the value you are setting. This will show up as the author for all your future commits. When I was learning Git, my first repo showed up as unknown author. Not a great look. You can try committing messages, adding commits to the GitHub repository without name, but it doesn't look good like in general. Okay, the next step is like I'm going to follow the same command, git config ---- global user dot email. So here I'm going to give my email, my repository email. So I will try to give this email. So for example, okay, I'm going to set this username, the same command, again global user.email. It follows the same. This is done. Okay, we are good with this. Now let me clear the screen. I have the script. I will create a directory name git demo. Okay, and in this directory I will try to move setup.sh script. Okay, move is just the command to move files from one folder to other folder. Okay, now if we go to GitHub demo, I can see my file in this particular folder. Okay, ls is like nothing but these are like kind of basic commands. You can go through. If you don't know anything about this, let me know in the comments. I will try to explain in detail. Not an issue. Followed by, first I'm going to initialize the GitHub repository. Everything whatever we are doing is like locally git initialize. It initialize empty git repository dot git. If you can see ls-a, you will see dot git. Previously we didn't had anything like this. Okay, once this is done, I'm going to use git add command setup.sh. Press enter. Now let's look at the git status command. So if you see here, new file changes to be committed. Okay, on branch master no commits yet, changes to be committed, new file setup.sh. Let's do that. Git commit is like the command that we are going to use, followed by -m is like the message, initial commit automation script in double quotes. Press enter. So if you see master initial commit automation script create mode setup.sh. Now we have created a commit. We added a look to the local file. Now let's go to our github.com. So I will navigate to my github.com. So here I have many repositories. If you don't have any GitHub account, try to create using your email. It is free of cost. Okay, once you log into that, you'll see these kind of options: overview, repositories, projects, packages, stars. Click on new. Click on new. Here I am going to give git demo, followed by public repository. You want to keep it public or private? I would like to keep private. And there's an option to add a git readme file. Initialize this repository with readme file. Add git ignore file. I'm going to explain, all this stuff in detail in later stages. Click on create repository. So as soon as you create repository, you will see something like this. Okay, start quoting with code spaces. Ignore this stuff. Quick setup. If you've done this kind of thing before, create a new repository on the command line. Okay, you can do this. Git initialize, git add, git commit -m. We did all this stuff. Git initialize, git add, git commit. Okay, now the next steps are like git branch -m main followed by git remote add origin or push an existing repository. So in our case, we are going to follow this 3 commands. First, let me add this remote origin. We are saying we are going to trust this repository and we are trying to add this repository to our local repository. Okay, git remote add origin. Press enter. Followed by git branch -m main. Okay, git branch. Let me clear my screen. Git branch -m main. This command renames your current branch to main. Even if a branch called main already exists, it will override it. Previously we had master branch. I would like to keep it as main. That's why I'm, let's say, renaming it. If you want to stick with that, you can stick with that, not an issue. So once this is like done, the next step is like git push origin main. Okay, let's try to push this. I'm going to push. Let me know in the comments whether it will work or not. Okay, push main. It is asking for username. That means it will not work. Without the username and password, this is not going to work. So let me quickly grab my username. So I will copy my username. Press enter. Followed by it is asking for password. So I am going to create a token. Repositories. Sorry. I'm going to create a token settings. Followed by scroll down developer settings. Personal access tokens. Tokens classic. And generate new token. Okay. Give it a note. Demo, for example. I would like to use it as a demo. It will expire in 7 days. Repo access scope. Select scope. Repo access I need. And admin access I'm going to give. I think this should be enough. Okay, there are, like, let's say, a lot of permissions and stuff. I don't want to go into detail, but for our use case, this is enough. Copy this and paste it here. Press enter. You can see branch main set up to track origin/main. Let's go back to our browser and click on repositories, git demo, and we see our setup.sh script is like on our GitHub repository. We have successfully configured GitHub repository and also pushed source code from our local server to the GitHub repo. If your push fails, don't stress. Double check your remote URL, your credentials, and whether you initialize the repo on GitHub. Google any error you get. Most have simple fixes, and if you get stuck, post in the comments. I'll help you out. Career and interview tip. Almost every DevOps role or software engineer role, you will be asked for Git and branching strategies and lot of stuff. Okay, if you can show real GitHub profile with lab scripts and history, you look way more professional than 90% of other applicants. Okay, so challenge for today's episode: initialize a repo, commit your first script, push it to GitHub repo. Try to create a GitHub repository. Try to sign up with your email address. Drop a screenshot in the comments, or just tell me what you learned about version control. What are we going to see in the next episode? Now your projects are safe, versioned with Git. It's time to take your DevOps skills to the next level. Okay? Because in the next episode, we are going to dive into CI CD with Jenkins. You'll see how to automate your builds, test, and deployments just like real engineering teams do, right inside your home lab. Hit subscribe, like, and get ready to turn your home lab into a real world DevOps playground with powerful automation. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps Home Lab series, episode 9. Today, we are about to do something that puts your home lab on a whole new level, building your own CI CD pipelines with Jenkins. If you are excited to see how the pros automate their build, test, deployment, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around till the end. When I started learning DevOps, I realized how much of the world used to deploy the software by hand. That means manual deployment of software, copying files, and crossing their fingers, hoping nothing would break. It used to take a lot of hours for deploying one simple application, and also lot of time waste in this manual deployment. People used to wait hours after deploying. If something fails, then again the same process. Okay, manual deployment was very hectic, time consuming, and lot of failures. It was like very big pain for every developer. That's where our CI CD came into picture. Here we have code, followed by we are going to build that, test it, then deploy. So whenever there is a change in the code, automatically the pipeline will trigger the build, followed by the testing will happen, and also the deployment with a human approval in place. So this is the difference between manual deployment and CI CD. With CI CD, you never have to worry about any manual pain which was there earlier. You automate all the steps, building, testing, deploying, so you are free from late night surprises and stress. Once you build your CI CD, your home lab isn't just a project, it's a real production like system. The same way companies run their applications, learning this skill changed everything for me, and it will do the same for you. You might have a question in your mind, why do we need CI CD? Automating your workflows means we'll have fewer mistakes and more time savior. Previously, if something used to take 4 hours, that will drastically come down to 30 minutes. Okay, this is the power of automation, and there will be, let's say, faster feedback loops. If something fails, you will know very quickly. and you can react or change the code and try to fix the issue. Slowly, you will understand the automation like the CI/CD, how things will work in my coming videos. But on the high level, assume like this. So, what are we going to do? We are going to install Jenkins in our HomeLab. This is for free. Also, we are going to build a real CI/CD for our web application. How are we going to do this? I'll take you through step by step, hands on. Also, I'm going to show you when things go wrong. There are like so many issues we will come across. I'm going to show you everything. And also, first pipeline will never be perfect. Okay, it's all part of the process. Slowly you'll get used to it. We are going to see a lot of obstacles, lot of errors, lot of problems. It's all about the time and how quickly you are going to troubleshoot and learn things. Everything should be, let's say, practical. You have to do everything practical. If you just watch videos, you are not going to gain anything. Try to be as much practical as possible. Before we jump in, let's quickly look at how Jenkins is built. So we are going to talk about the Jenkins architecture. Okay, so first let me write Jenkins master. Okay, this is the brain of Jenkins master, or sometimes we call this as controller, is the main brain. We are going to first install this. It is going to manage everything. So for example, users, dashboard, pipelines, plugins, everything is like managed by Jenkins master. Okay, for now assume only these. There are like so many things that Jenkins can do. There are, let's say, a lot of plugins, extensions, connections to other stuff. But yeah, Jenkins master is like the main brain. Then we have Jenkins agents, okay, or workers. I mean, you can name as you are comfortable. For me, I'm comfortable with Jenkins agents and Jenkins master. So these are kind of helpers. I mean, Jenkins master, if it receives any kind of work, it will try to assign it to Jenkins agents. There are like so many agents. Okay, so many agents are available for Jenkins master. Also, it depends on the companies. In very big companies, you'll have thousands of this. Okay, in some companies you might see hundreds, in some companies 50, in some companies 10. Yeah, it completely depends on the project size you are working on. Okay, and also the company you are working on. But in our home lab, we are going to run everything on a single machine. Okay, single machine. Master and agent both will act as our only one machine, Ubuntu virtual machine. If you have, let's say, more power on your computer, you can set up Jenkins agent as well. I'm going to show you the demo, but please don't worry if you do not have resources to create. It's okay to use the same machine. The concept is you need to understand the architecture so that you are confident in the interviews. Okay, so what will happen? For example, this is like my GitHub repository, and this is me. I will try to push some code here. Okay, as soon as I push code to the GitHub, automatically Jenkins master will know, okay, Arbaz pushed some code to GitHub. My job is, let's say, to check that particular code and try to assign it to someone. For example, in this case, Jenkins agent. As soon as I push a code to the GitHub repository, automatically Jenkins master will look into that and try to, let's say we are going to create some pipelines here. So based on the pipelines, we are going to say, okay, I want to run this on agent 1 or agent 2, or there should be, let's say, a node pool. We say we try to, according to that, whenever the agent is like available, automatically the pipeline starts. As I said, Jenkins master is like the main brain here. Okay, it is acting as a mediator between the source code and the agents. Whenever something is like pushes, automatically Jenkins master will look into that and try to assign job to the Jenkins agent. Okay, this is the whole architecture or process. All of this is like a one time setup. Okay, once you set up everything, everything is like connected to each other, you have automated a lot of stuff. Okay, if you know this, you are, let's say, ahead of 90% of people who just watch videos. I would recommend, try to do it practical, try to set up manually stuff which whatever I'm showing. You are, let's say, about 90% of people who are just watching videos. Also, one more point I would like to add here: you don't need to memorize every detail. The big picture view will really impress in any interviews and help you scale up later. Let's get Jenkins up and running on your Linux virtual machine, which we created in our previous episodes. First, we are going to update our system by running this command sudo apt update. So once the update is like finished, we are going to install OpenJDK. Now we are going to install Java version because this is kind of mandatory. For that, I'm using apt install and the OpenJDK version here. Without this, your Jenkins will not work on your computer. So this is like a mandatory step before installing Jenkins. The Java version got installed. So let's quickly check the version. Java space hyphen hyphen version is a command to check. So I can see OpenJDK 21 version. This is like expected. So this is fine. Now we are going to download Jenkins. Now we are using curl command to download Jenkins signing key file from the official repository. It's a special file that lets our computer trust Jenkins packages. Okay, press enter. So once we do this, we are going to add this repository. After adding the key to our machine in this location, we are going to add this particular repository to this source list.file. Okay, press enter. Once this is done, we are going to run sudo apt update. I mean, we are saying that we added something. Just try to, refresh everything so that new packages are ready for use. Let me clear the screen. Now we are going to say sudo apt install Jenkins space hyphen y. Press enter. Sudo apt install is like a very common command. You will be using a lot in the Linux world. So get used to that, I would say. Okay, looks like Jenkins was successfully installed. Now let me clear the screen. Let's see the status. So we are going to run this simple command sudo systemctl status Jenkins. Okay, press enter. So I can see active and running. Okay, let's see if we can access Jenkins from our local machine. So for that, I need the IP address of this machine. Let me copy this IP address. And also Jenkins runs on port 8080. So let me use that particular port, and we have successfully configured Jenkins. Okay, this is just the beginning. There's a lot to do. If you reached till this point, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment your experiences. Okay, it is saying to ensure Jenkins is securely set up by administrator, a password has been written. Okay, the log and this file on the server. So we need to go here, var lib secrets initial password. I'm going to copy this, go back to my terminal. Let's clear the screen here and use cat command. Okay, cat command is like to read anything. So for example, I can see, okay, permission denied. I need to use sudo space cat command, press enter. This is the secret key that I need to copy, come back and paste it here. Okay, then continue. Here we see an option install suggested plugins and select plugins to install. So there are like two options you can select by yourself. Okay, I'm going to go back and I would say install suggested plugins. Okay, I'm going to select this option. So by default, it will select some of the plugins, not all. For example, folders, timestamper, pipeline, Git, email extension. All these are, let's say, default plugins that will get installed on our machine. One more point I would like to mention, if there is any problem with port 8080 on your server, if you are unable to access, you need to allow that particular port. Let me know if you were able to successfully pass the step or you got stuck, and how did you solve this problem. If you were unable to solve, again, Google it, try to solve it by yourself. If you are still unable to do that, drop it in the comments and I will try to help you. Installation got successful. Now I'm going to give a username Arbaz followed by password. So any strong password you can give. Then try to give the same password, repeat it. Also a name, and then I would give my own email address here. Okay, press save and continue. Skip and continue as admin also you can do, but no, I would like to do this. Save and continue. Then save and finish. This is fine. I would like to keep this URL. Save and finish. Start using Jenkins. We have successfully configured Jenkins. This is like the great step, I would say. Now let's see what do we have in here. Once you log into this page, you're going to see Jenkins, followed by there's like a manage Jenkins option here. If you come back on the settings page, so here you will see system configuration, system, tools, plugins, nodes. This is where you will try to add, agent nodes, multiple agent nodes, as we were discussing. If you want to attach a second virtual machine to act as agent and to run, pipelines and stuff. There's an option for clouds, appearance, security part. In security, we have credentials, credential providers, users, wherein you can create multiple users. System information, status information, system log, load statistics about Jenkins. Troubleshooting, managing old data, tools and actions, Jenkins CLI as well, script console, prepare for shutdown. Okay, these are all the stuff which we have here. I'm going to go back, and here I can see new item. So in this new item, I can create multiple, let's say, pipelines. For example, freestyle project, pipeline, multi-configuration project, folder, multi-branch, organization folder. So there is a lot. I mean, I cannot cover everything in a single video. Jenkins in itself is like a very big ocean. Okay, to keep it very simple, now I am going to create a simple pipeline. Click new item, followed by here I am going to select pipeline. For that, I need to give a name. So I will give HomeLab pipeline as the name. Okay, followed by I'm going to select pipeline. Click OK. In the description, I'm saying HomeLab pipeline testing. Okay, here you can see multiple options. Discard old builds, do not allow. I mean, there's a lot. In the future videos, we are going to discuss about all of this stuff. For now, let's scroll down to pipeline script. So here I'm going to write a simple pipeline. This is like very, very simple, very basic pipeline just for your understanding. Pipeline, I'm saying to run it on any agent. Okay, stages. First stage is like build. Okay, steps, echo building. In general, you'll have some command here. Let's say, for example, Java space build or Maven space build, something along those lines. I'm going to show you that. Don't worry. Test is like stage test, echo testing, followed by stage is like deploy, step is like deploying. So be careful with these brackets. You might see a lot of failures due to the bracket. You might give sometimes more brackets, less brackets. Okay, it completely depends. So now let's try to save this. For example, I'm going to remove this. I think that is not required. So apply. It says expecting not found. So here it is showing me. That's very great. Jenkins developed a lot. Save. I have my Jenkins HomeLab pipeline. Now let's click on build now. So the pipeline started and it's already green. Success. Let's go to the console output. If you can see, building, testing, deploying. This is like very simple basic pipeline I wanted to show you. Now let's go back to Jenkins once again. So I will create another item saying test Maven. Click on pipeline, click OK. So here I'm coming here once again, scroll down pipeline script. I see multiple options here. Hello world, GitHub plus Maven, scripted pipeline. Select this and I can see agent. Install the Maven version configured as M3. Okay, I need to install this. Okay, steps, build. It will try to clone this repository and it will try to run this on our machine. Followed by post. Success. It will try to post this output in this particular location. This is like very simple example. I'm not going to do this installing Maven and stuff. If you are interested, you can go ahead and install Maven version. In the coming video, I'm going to show you how to set up web app locally from your machine and push all the changes to GitHub repo and trigger it from there. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and share this lab series with your friends. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps Home Lab series, episode 10. In the previous episode, we installed Jenkins and built our first CI/CD pipeline. Now you know how automation works behind the scenes. But building a pipeline is just a start. Today, let's make it real by deploying our own web application live on your home lab. If you are excited, hit that like button. Let's jump in. Here's our goal for today. Home lab. We are going to write some code, push it to GitHub repository. From home lab, we are going to write this. Followed by from GitHub, automatically this will go to Jenkins. Jenkins will trigger a job that will run the pipeline and Nginx is deployed. Okay, we are going to update Nginx web page. This is being accessed by real world users. Okay, we are going to do this whole setup today. From home lab, we are going to write some code that will go to GitHub. From GitHub, automatically Jenkins will collect that code that will get deployed to Nginx web server. And again, as an end user, we are going to access that. Okay, this is the process. This is how web servers work in real world environments. For example, Netflix. If you are following along, subscribe so you never miss the next episode. Let's connect the dots together. Let's jump into our terminal. And in my terminal, I'm going to run this simple command sudo systemctl status nginx. I can see nginx is running. I'm going to navigate to my browser and it is running on the same as our Jenkins server. So I'm going to copy this IP address followed by I'm going to say port 80. I can see welcome to Nginx page. So we already did this in our previous videos. If you are new to my channel, please check out the video so that you are on the same page. Okay, now let's continue. Now we are going to create a repository on our github.com. I'm going to create a repository name first pipeline demo public, add a readme file, create repository. So as soon as you create this repository, you should see a readme file in here. We are going to copy this URL from here and let's try to clone this locally. First, I'm going to create a directory that would be web app, followed by I'm going to navigate to the directory, and in here I'm going to say git clone to clone the remote repository, the URL which we copied from here. So I'm going to copy this link. Git clone is the command to copy the exact stuff which we have remotely to our local machine. Okay, now we should see a first pipeline demo. As you can see, you can clearly see this. So in this folder, I'm going to create a new file name index.html. Press enter. Insert mode, followed by I'm going to paste some code here. Please don't worry about this code. I'm going to provide each and every link in the description. So don't worry about this for now. Once this is done, we are going to run simple commands as we did previously. Git space add index.html followed by git commit space -m space first web app. Okay, we are going to commit this message. This is like done. Now we are going to push this to our main branch. For that, I'm using git push -u origin main branch command. Now I'm going to push this to our main branch. For that, I'm using git push command -u origin main. It is asking me for username. So for that, I'm going to copy it from my repository, paste it here, press enter, followed by I need to provide password. This is like the classic token that we generated in our last episode. If you have missed that, please cross check that video. How did we create that token? So once this is done, let's jump into our repository. I can see index.html was pushed successfully. Now let's go back to our server, the same server where we installed Jenkins. Now we are going to set up our directory and change some permissions here. So currently, let's see what are the permissions on this location, var www.html. Here I can see that root is like the owner here. Now let's change these permissions. Sudo ch own -r space Jenkins Jenkins space var www.html enter /enter. So now I can see Jenkins instead of root. So this means Jenkins can read and write to this particular location. So we are changing the permissions here of this particular directory using 755. That means owner will have read write execute, group will have read and execute, others will have read and execute. Press enter. Once this is done, we are going to jump back to our Jenkins pipeline. Now let's jump into our Jenkins page. Here click on new item and give it a name, web app pipeline. click on freestyle project, click OK, followed by I'm going to scroll down here and select Git as like the source code repository. I need to provide the URL here. So for that, I'm going to copy this and paste it here. This is like my GitHub repository. Followed by in credentials, click on add, select Jenkins, username with password. There are like other options as well. I would like to keep it very simple for now. So I'm going to select username with password. Go back to our repository. Here I'm going to select this username, paste it here, followed by treat username as secret. Okay, then password. So password, I'm going to go back to my settings. Once again, developer settings, personal access token, fine grained tokens. Generate new token, CI, pipeline, public repository, read only access to public repositories. Select this and expiration date is like 7 days. Generate token. So copy this token, go back to our Jenkins web page and paste it here. Add this. Okay, this is like done. Now here, if you see branches to build, branches specifier. Here I'm going to select main branch because it's like main here in my repository. Let's quickly go back. So it's like a main branch. I'm going to select main branch instead of master. Scroll down. Forget about the triggers, environment. Don't worry about this right now. I'm going to select build step, execute shell. Here I'm going to run this simple command, cp index.html var index.html. Okay, I'm going to copy this file to this location. Okay, let's save and try to click on build now and see what will happen. Console output, I can see first web app, also cp index.html var html, it got copied. Looks like it was success. I'm going to refresh this Jenkins page. Congratulations, you have successfully set up your first web server. Now let's do one more thing. Let me quickly go back to my folder and try to update index.html once again. So here I'm going to update my YouTube channel name. So in this file, I'm going to update my YouTube channel name. Save this. Once again, do git add, git commit space -m, update channel link. We are doing a git push once again. We have successfully pushed our changes. Let's go back and I can see it was pushed. Our changes were pushed successfully. Update channel link. Now I'm coming back to my pipeline once again. Let's try to click on build now. So console output, I can see our jobs ran successfully. Now let's try to refresh this link. Now we are successfully navigating to my channel. This is how you will send your content live to external users. Drop a comment if it worked for you and share this video if you know someone learning DevOps. More likes and shares help me keep making these kind of free lessons. Challenge for you. Deploy your own web app with Jenkins and Nginx. Try to break it, fix it, and share your story or best tip below. I read every comment. If you made it this far, you just built a real production style deploy pipeline from code to live static, all automated. But we are not stopping here. In the next episode, we'll turn your home lab into a smart system. We'll install monitoring and alerting tools so you get instant notifications when anything goes wrong. No more guessing. If your website's down, you'll know before your users do. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and drop a comment with your biggest win or funniest fail. Let's keep building skills that sets you apart in real world DevOps. See you in the next video.